welcome. Thank you for coming. Today we're going to be looking at how to set a watch. And we're going to be walking through it step by step to get you ready to play the game. Alright, let's get to it. Step 1, open the box. Yeah, that's a pretty nice first step there. Okay, first thing I like to do is I like to separate all my components out before I kind of get too deep into it. So you got the rule book there, you got 2 bags of dice. I've got the creature cards right here, location cards, tokens, character stuff, and then this is always hard to get out, I've got my adventurers. So the one thing you're going to notice about Set a Watch, and this is a pretty neat thing, it's the box is actually the game board as well. So it's pretty neat. So let's get that set up first. You're going to want to put that kind of towards the top of your table here. And then what I like to do first after this is just get all my tokens out. The tokens are kind of the easier part. So you're going to have a baggie with tokens. And then I'm going to pour them out. One thing to keep in mind, I do have the deluxe version of this game. With the deluxe version, I get some upgraded tokens. That's really all it is. We've got 3 tokens here to represent fire. In the base game, you're only going to have 1 of them. In mine, I've got 2 extra ones to signify bigger fire. And then you also have these camp tokens. These camp tokens are pretty much going to represent who rests at camp. You need everyone to rest at camp 2 times throughout the whole game. So I like to just kind of put them on the side right here. And one other thing to kind of know too, the fire tokens, those are essentially going to represent how big your fire is, which is going to show you how many enemies you can reveal in line. Okay, so now that we've got that set up, what I like to do now is get my location deck ready. So what you want to do is find your cards with the location deck, take them out. Come on, you got it. And the cards for the location deck, they are going to look like this right here. That's going to be the back side of them. And you're going to have a whole bunch of them. And I guess I should have noted too, since I have the deluxe version, really the only difference besides these upgraded components here, I've got 2 extra characters, and then I've essentially got a bunch of extra cards. I've got more location cards than the retail version, and then on the deluxe version, you've got more creature cards. So, and I'll be pointing that out. So what you want to do now is you want to separate your location cards. So let's take a look at them. There's going to be 3 different types of location cards, and I will show you them just so you know how they look. So you've got your basic location card, which is this guy right here. And essentially what you're going to see is this is the location. You're going to see what it's called, that's the location. You're going to have some sort of effect on the bottom that's going to happen when it's revealed, how much fire you lose for that round, and then how many enemies you're going to end up drawing. This is just the basic one. You want to find the respite locations. The respite locations look almost identical, but the only difference is they're going to have this little symbol right here. So those are the respite guys. So you're going to get them all in a pile on their own, and I believe in between games I usually just kind of pre-sort these out so they're ready to go for me, so I don't have to worry about that. And my hunch has proven correct. I've already got them sorted. And the last thing you want to do is your 3rd type of location is the final locations. Boom. And you're going to be looking for this symbol right here. That signifies the final location. For the retail version, there's only 1 final location, and that's actually the Forbidden Tower. For the deluxe version, you've got 2 more. So now that you got them separated, the first thing you want to do is you want to choose a final location. So just kind of randomly shuffle here, take one, and then you're going to want to take that final location and then put them right here. This is where your location deck's going to go. So boom, I've got that there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our basic locations. So again, these are the ones without any symbols. You're going to shuffle them up really good. Better than that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to draw 8 cards. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. Remember, you probably want to shuffle better than me. So you're going to take those 8 cards, and then you're going to put them on top of your final location. So what we just did is we created 9 locations total that our adventurers are going to go through. And with the remainder of the locations, you're going to want to take all the respite locations, all the basic locations, and the 2 remaining, or if you have a final location, you're going to want to take them all together. And then, better than me, you're going to want to shuffle them all together. So again, you're shuffling the respite locations, basic locations, and final locations all together. And what you're going to do is, and like I said, pretty neat, this game, the box is pretty much your board. Inside the box here, you're going to have all your extra locations. They're the unused locations. So there might be points in the games where you're able to reveal them. So that deck's going to go there. So now you're set up for your locations. Take any baggies you got, put them aside, because who wants that stuff? All right, next. And this is the one step that's a little bit more complicated. We're going to set up the creature deck. So, step 1 of creature deck, take them out of the bag. That's always a good step. I make myself laugh. Okay, so creature deck. You are going to have 3 types of creatures. Just to show you what the card back looks like. Boom. Creature deck's going to look similar to that for all the creature cards. You kind of got like a little fire thingy down below. Pretty neat. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look for summon cards. Put them all in their own deck. I'll show you what they are in a second. And like I've alluded to for locations, I like to kind of pre-sort everything in between plays. So, here we go. You're going to have your summon cards. Summon cards, bam! They're going to look like this. These are the nasty cards that you don't really want for the game. Or you don't want to have them show up, because bad things are going to happen. So what you're going to do is, you're going to take 2 summon cards. Again, deluxe version's got a lot of summon cards in them. The retail version's got 4, and those 4 are all the same. So whichever version you have, you're going to want to just take 2. And 2 is for the normal difficulty. 1, 2. And you can make it harder if you want by adding more summon cards into the game. So if you want to do a hard difficulty, you would do 3. Bam. And if you wanted insane difficulty, it's 4, which we're not going to do. But for today, because I can barely beat the game on normal, we're just going to do normal. So you're going to put these 2 cards here. The rest of your summon cards, we are going to just put them away. So those go bye-bye. And now what we're going to want to do is we're going to take all of our creatures. So there's 2 different types of creatures like I alluded to. There are your normal creatures, which they are going to look like this. And it's just like your locations, you got a bunch of stuff on them. You got how much damage they're going to do to you. You got how much health that they have that you're going to have to take away, what their name is, and any effects that they might have. That's the regular ones, and then you're going to have your Unhallowed ones. Your Unhallowed guys, they're going to have this symbol right here. So you want to separate those into 2 separate decks. And like I mentioned, I should have all my Unhallowed in this deck. And then what we're going to do is, in these 2 summon cards, you want to make sure you find the 2 acolytes. 1, 2. There's 2 acolytes in the whole deck, or acolyte, I'm not sure how you say it. But you want to find the 2 of them, and you want to make sure that they are going to be in your decks. So I'm going to put one of them on one summon card, and one of them on the other. And then, again, your Unhallowed cards are still separate from everything. We're going to do that last. You're going to take all your other regular creatures, all of these guys here that don't have that little, any special symbols, and that aren't the summon cards. You're going to shuffle them really, really good. Better than I'm about to do. Boom. And then you can turn these 2 stacks face down, and you're going to add enough to get you a total of 30 cards for everything. So because we're playing normal, I only have 2 summon cards. I've got 2 stacks. I'm going to add 13 here and 13 here. If I had 3 stacks of cards, again, you want to get a total of 30, so it would be 10, 10, and 10. But for the normal difficulty, I'm going to put in 13 cards into each deck. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count with me, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. Okay, so now I got these two decks here. Put the unused creatures. They are going to go away. So they're going to be with the rest of the summon cards. So they're not in the game. These guys go to the side. I like to kind of keep them hidden so I don't know who is or isn't in the game. So now I have 2 stacks of cards. I should have 15 cards in this one, 15 cards in that one. What you're going to want to do is you're going to shuffle them independent of one another. So you're going to shuffle, 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 shuffle really good. And you're going to put this stack here next to the game board. And then I'm going to get my second stack. I'm going to go here, shuffle, 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 super good, and then put that on top of the other stack. So now we have set up our creature deck. And again, that's a deck of 30 cards. Well, we're almost there. Get it ready. Okay, so now your Unhallowed ones. Remember, these are the ones with the symbols on here. What you're going to want to do is, you're going to want to shuffle super good the Unhallowed cards. Boom, boom, boom. You're going to take one Unhallowed card. Do not look at it. Keep it face down, and you're going to put it inside the box in the spot called the Horde. The Horde is essentially any of the bad guys that you don't defeat come the end of the game. They get added to the Horde, and then at the end of the game, once you get to that last location, the 9th location, all those guys are going to get added to the line of creatures, and it's going to be bad news for you. So we've got this one guy in the Horde, and then remember we shuffled all of these, so we're going to take 7. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Unhallowed creatures, and I like to not look at them, but the one caveat with the Unhallowed deck, and this is pretty neat, you actually do it face up. And the reason you do it face up, the intent is so you know what's coming. The summon cards, those are going to be what ends up summoning these Unhallowed into the line. So as you're kind of playing the game, you know this guy's coming up, so you can hopefully mitigate stuff. The remaining Unhallowed, you're going to say goodbye to them. So we're not using them. So what I like to do is, all my unused cards, I just put them all together. I try not to look at which ones are out of play, because that might help you kind of mitigate or know what is or isn't coming. And then, personally, I like to put them in the baggie because I'm nice and organized, and then put them out of view. Okay, almost there. So, last thing you want to do is you're going to want to pick your adventurers. Your adventurers are these nice little cards. In my version, the deluxe, I've got the Bard and I have the Knight, and that's about it. So I get 8. Retail is 6. So what you're going to want to do, I like to turn them face down. Shuffle, 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 and you're going to want to randomly pick 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put them face down in front of you. These other ones you're not going to need. It is neat, I should say, that on one side you do have the whole character, but on the back side, and this is really cool, it's a little quick reference sheet. And I'll put that up there for you right there, and pretty much it kind of gives you a quick reference for how's your turn's going to go and any actions that you might want to do. It has it all on there, so that's really neat. And just to point out a few things on the character card, now that you have it set up, we're going to finish the setup on these guys. So what you're going to see is you're going to see the name of the character right there, a little nice fancy picture of them. The text that you have down here, that's camp actions that you can do. One person's going to rest at camp every round. But more importantly for our setup, what we really want right now is we're looking at these symbols. So there's 2 types of dice in the game. There's D6, which are 6-sided dice, and D8, which are 8-sided dice. Each character gets 3 die. What this symbol is going to show you, it's either going to be like this, or it's going to be a little red square, and that's going to tell you if you get D8s or D6. Other thing on the character card, you're going to see this icon right here. That guy tells them whether it's ranged or if they're close up. So either they can fight only the first person in line, or they can go 2 deeper. So, but for now, for the setup, what we want to gather all our dice. Okay. For the unused characters, usually what I do, I kind of put them to the side here. And I have my little handy quick reference sheet ready to go. So what I've got is, I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 characters that are going to use 6-sided dice. So you're going to take all your dice out and go figure, but the colors go together. So So all the yellow die go together, all the red die, and all the orange die. And I only have one character in this game that's got 8-sided dice, and that is the Beastmaster. So choose whatever color. I'll just do this one right here. Boom. Alright. So now that we have that, all your unused die, you're going to go to the side. You're never going to use them again this game. Now what we need to do is find your last set of cards, either the tiny little ones, the only ones in this game that are tiny like this, and they are the character ability cards. So you want to take them out of the bag, and what you're going to see is all of these cards, they're going to have a little image on them, and that's going to be the same as the image that's actually on the character. So each character is going to have 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just kind of put them with that character. Cleric is going to have 5. What do I got? Wizard Rogue. Not that one. No. Here's the Wizard. You get your 5 cards, and then the Rogue. Where's the Rogue at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. All the other ability cards, you're going to put them to the side. And you are not going to use them because you don't have those characters. Boom. Okay, so what you're going to do for each character, they have 5 of them. Every character starts out with 3. So you're going to want to blindly shuffle. These cards are double-sided, so just trust yourself. Close your eyes or something. Blindly shuffle, and you're going to give them 3. 1, 2, and then the third one, or you can choose one randomly, however you want, you're going to flip them on the back side. So what you're going to see is these cards, the back side looks like this, and that represents an exhausted ability, which means you can't use that ability anymore. And the way that's going to matter is that also represents your character's health. So each person's going to have 3. If all of them get flipped like this, they end up, I guess, dying is what you would say. So anyways, okay, 1, 2, third one's flipped over. And then these other 2, I'm just going to kind of put them on the side. And the reason you put them out of the way, there's camp action that later in the game you could switch out these abilities if you so wanted to. And what you're going to do is, you're going to do that for every character. You're going to shuffle them really good. 1, 2, 3 is flipped. Put their abilities there. And the cleric. Okay, sir. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Boom. Rogue. Count it with me. 1, 2. Flipped over. 3. Perfect. So now we have all of our characters set up and ready to go. And that is really the setup. Then to get started, what you're going to do, you're going to take the first card on the location deck and you're going to do what the game says is light the fire. And we're going to take this guy, we're going to flip it over, and what that's going to do is that's going to tell you how you start the game. One thing to note, we ended up drawing the Frost Caverns. So in the Frost Caverns, you're going to ignore this. It says -2 campfire. For the very first round, you're going to ignore it because that's telling you how much to lower your campfire by. But everything else, the 7, that's going to tell you how many enemies to draw in the first round. And Frost Caverns has an ability right there, reduce the health of all dragons by 2. So that's an ongoing effect for this location. So you've got the final location, and then the very, very last thing we like to do, you got to set the beginning fire value. So this is going to tell you how many enemies that you can see throughout the game. If it's here, between 1 and 6, you're only going to be able to see 1 enemy. If it's between 7 and 11, you're going to see 2. And if it's between 12 and it only maxes out at 15, it doesn't go any higher, it's going to be there. So the instructions of the game tell you if you're just starting out, put it on 7. So you put your little fire token on 7. The alternate way to do this, you can take one of the 8-sided dice, and personally this is how I like doing it. You take one of the 8-sided dice, you roll it. Oh, well, how about that? It's 7. Well, if it wasn't 7, then it would be something else, right? So that would actually be a really good setup for the first game. So you'd roll it, and then whatever the value is, that's where your fire starts. And actually, if you have the deluxe ones to represent the 2 enemies, boom, you put them there. And now, you are pretty much ready to play. To get your first round started, you would take the dice of all these characters, you'd roll them, and then you would decide who goes to camp first. And that would be your first round of play. So I hope this helped you out on knowing how to set up Set-A-Watch, kind of get a feel for how long it takes. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If I screwed up, which I really hope I didn't, but I don't think I did. So, anyways, hope this helped you out. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, so long, farewell.